Hello and welcome back to another episode. Now, unfortunately, over the weekend I developed a bit of a cold. It's a bit annoying, you can probably hear it in my voice, but I'm not really operating at 100% today. It's just irritating. However, I told myself this morning when I woke up, this is an opportunity, this is a chance to do something a bit laid back this morning and share with you some of my most recent pickups. And really the headline pickup over the past couple of days has to be the picking up of Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu along with the Pokeball Plus controller. I actually pre-ordered these two a little while ago, and primarily I figured this would be something that my wife might enjoy. She's been loving Pokemon Go for ages. For the past couple of years, actually, we've both been very much enjoying playing Pokemon Go together. And as more and more features arrived, as we're able to identify, for example, each other as friends on the app and this kind of thing, it's been more and more of a pleasure to play. And it's also been really good fun for me watching her get more and more enthusiastic about Pokemon. We started watching the anime, the original series that I used to watch on TV. She started learning all the Pokemon in the Pokedex, especially that first 100 or so Pokemon from the early days, and a little bit of a development as well in terms of battles and the evolutions of Pokemon, this kind of thing. But I figured she was ready for something a bit different, and that's where this game comes in. And I think it's been designed to incorporate elements of Pokemon Go into a more mainline Pokemon game. And the other thing that really sold me on this was the fact that this is a remake or a reimagining of Pokemon Yellow, which was my first Pokemon game. I mean, in all honesty, first of all I played Pokemon Red and Blue on my friends' Game Boys, but my first personal Pokemon game was Pokemon Yellow. And the fact that this game retreads those same steps with a HD finish and could be also therefore my wife's first Pokemon game was simply too wonderful for me to ignore. So we picked this up on Friday. Well, actually, it arrived in the post on Friday, and she's not stopped playing it since. Over the weekend, she racked up 10 hours, which isn't super heavy play sessions, but yesterday, basically, she was just 6 hours in front of the TV playing Pokemon. And it's a wonderful role reversal as well. Normally, I'm the one playing the computer games quite intensively while she's reading or something. So she's loving it. I'm loving the fact that she's loving it. Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu is a good Pokemon game. It really is. And also, actually, the implementation of the Pokeball Plus controller has also been very pleasing to observe as well. So the button on the front is also a stick. So you sort of use that to move your Pokemon around, but also it's a button with a light that will flash yellow when you've sort of captured a Pokemon and it's deciding whether or not it's going to stay in the ball. Then it goes green if the Pokemon stays in the ball. There's another button on top of the Pokeball. There's their B button, so A and B and a stick. And really, this is all you need to play Pokemon. Pokemon is just a series of menus, really, and also moving your character around. And that really hit home when I saw my wife this weekend just playing the game using this Pokeball and then throwing the ball to catch the Pokemon. And it's been a real pleasure seeing this next stage in her Pokemon evolution. Also, as well, another little thing is that this Pokeball Plus controller will work with Pokemon Go as well. Actually, she was going to take this out with her today and give it a bit of a go, but she forgot, so maybe tomorrow. But yeah, Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, I suppose. Really good, solid introductions to proper Pokemon games. I look forward to seeing what comes next from the Pokemon company. With that came this. It was an Eevee Plush, and I don't know why they packed an Eevee Plush. It was a keyring. I think that someone at Argos, where I pre-ordered this, simply didn't know the difference between Pikachu and Eevee. And so I was you know, slightly unhappy about that, but let's face it, I mean, how can you be unhappy about getting a plush keyring? Something that I was very happy about, though, and something that I was very, very, very surprised to receive in the post, were these two guys. Spider-Man and Venom from the Disney Infinity series. So these are statues with chips inside that interact with that computer game, but it's the actual specifics of the sculpt that I really quite like about this stuff. You've got the really highly stylized Spider-Man and Venom, and their relative size is quite pleasing as well. Venom's really quite beefy compared to Spider-Man. They just arrived in the post. A note without a name simply said that they thought I might like them, and I do. I think they're wonderful. They're going to be going on the shelf behind me. I probably won't get Disney Infinity, though. I'm not necessarily interested in the game, but those two statues I like. I like the style. Next is a book, and this is a series. It's an anthology of scary stories, ghost stories, and sort of murderer stories, which include actually a couple of authors that are local to me in the northeast of England. A collection of 17 chilling horror and supernatural stories. Kill for a Copy boasts a foreword from Sean Hudson, of the godfather of gore himself. Dark Chapter Press has gathered a motley crew of authors, most of whom are at the early stages of their writing careers, to showcase their grotesque works. I was basically chatting with well, a friend, I guess now, but the owner of Carson's Bazaar, my local comic book store, and this was on the shelf, and I couldn't resist it. It's, you know, I'm very much still in that Halloween kind of frame of mind, and also as well, it's a signed copy too. So yeah, I like that. A nice little treat for those sort of dark nights when I'm in a sort of horror kind of frame of mind. Next, a couple of Blu-rays. Now that I have a PlayStation 4, I can play Blu-rays, and I'm not interested in replacing all of my films, 800 odd DVDs, with Blu-rays, because actually I like the look of DVD, and I think DVD scales up quite nicely on the Xbox 360 and the PlayStation 4 anyway. But there are some films that will look undoubtedly really good on Blu-ray, or that you can only really get on Blu-ray. And so on Friday I popped into North Shields and I picked up this Dark City Director's Cut on Blu-ray as a relatively recent convert or discoverer of The Crow. A couple of years ago I was blown away by The Crow. This is a film from the same director. But also, interestingly, there are sets in this movie that were reused for the Matrix film that came out the following year. So I'm looking forward to seeing that, and seeing just basking again in that sort of that visual style of The Crow in this movie. I've heard lots of good things. I think someone recommended this actually in the comments on the Crow video, and so I can't wait to see it. Well, probably this week actually. One night I'm going to set aside for Dark City. The second Blu-ray was Blade Runner 2049. Is it? Yes, 2049. I haven't seen this film yet. Didn't see it in the cinema. I have a very good friend who he and I both talk quite often about the original Blade Runner, and we've both been waiting for the right time to watch it together, and so I figured, well, at least I'll buy the thing, and then next time we both have time, we will sit down and watch it. Now that I have it, he reckons he may come over on Friday, and we'll give it a premiere together. So yeah, Blade Runner on Blu-ray is meant to be visually gorgeous, so Blu-ray seemed the way to go, I think. Next, we have a book that I picked up from Oxfam. In fact, we have a few books now that I picked up from Oxfam. And this book, it just intrigued me. It's called It's a Bird. And it's a book that's it's from Vertigo Comics, written by Teddy Christiansen. And you'll notice that on the cover, the It's a Bird reference is a reference to the fact that all these people have Superman sort of like a tattoo or on their t-shirt or something. And it's a story that combines this author's childhood, some difficult times in his life, with the character of Superman in apparently a way that sort of blurs comics and reality, and is just very creative. And so I just saw some of the imagery inside, and I thought, I simply have to read this book. And so I did. I picked it up. It wasn't too expensive. It is also actually a first printing of this comic book, so that was kind of cool. Not that I always go for first printings, but that was just an extra reason to buy it. And I like it. I like this idea of merging stuff together. On the back, as I said, this remarkable genre-bending work details a son's search for his missing father and a writer's struggle to tap his creative impulse. People magazine. So people seemed quite intrigued by it, as was I. And so yeah, it's a bird. I'm definitely going to be reading it in the not too distant future, and almost certainly, I think, making a video after I've had some time to think about it. Oxfam, it seems, were having a bit of a Halloween sale, or rather a post-Halloween sale, and so I got a couple of big books with like grim contents for fairly pleasing prices. And the first of those two books was this one, Echoes of Terror. It's 11 short stories. 11 stories which, in awakening those primordial fears common to all mankind, reunite us with those who speak from beyond the grave. We have Charles Dickens, Lord Halifax, Edgar Allan Poe, Bram Stoker, an extract from Dracula, O. Henry, William Mudford, Frederick Marryat, Matthew Lewis, William Makepeace Thackeray, W. Jacobs, and Saki. And with each story, you get these delicious, bit of nudity there. I don't think I'll show that one. These delicious paintings and this imagery that it's a bit old. It's a bit sort of like 1980s, 1970s, but it reminds me of old D&D manuals or album cover art and this kind of thing. There's another one. So I'm looking forward to reading these stories and seeing what this artwork has to do with them. Also, as well, a little thing. I really appreciated this. On the inside cover, you have this marbling effect. I actually used to do marbling of paper in primary school. You put ink in water and then dip the paper into that water, and out comes a beautiful pattern. And they used to do that on old school books, old hand-bound books back in the day. That's a nice little detail on the Echoes of Terror. Next is another of the sort of the Halloween sale Oxfam books, and it's called Ghost Comics. And Ghost Comics intrigued me because it's a series of stories that are the through thread is ghosts. So there's a tale early on that I just thought, what's going to happen next? And so which is what we have here is it's a dinosaur ghost. So you have a dinosaur that sort of falls off a cliff, and then the tale is of that dinosaur becoming a ghost and going back onto land, and what does it see? That sort of stuff. And then there's some whimsical little things with ghosts drawn almost like let's see. Well, there you go. Drawn very much like that. And then you have some slightly more serious stories, like there's the story of a Japanese ghost, a medieval Japanese ghost, this kind of thing, and some slightly more arty type stuff as well. So there's this one here of almost like the image becomes ghostly and less clear as the story proceeds. So it's a series of interesting little tales. And it's all in an effort to raise money for the R.S. Eden charity. So basically, it's all for good causes as well, or at least it was when it was brand new. A benefit anthology for R.S. Eden. It just intrigued me, and also as well. I mean, look at this one. Yeah, this you couldn't describe as being good artwork. It's not it's not astonishing artwork, but this, I want to know how that image works in the context of this book. So yeah, Ghost Comics. Now, the next two books, if that's not astonishingly good artwork, these two absolutely do have astonishingly good artwork. First of all, a little pickup that I saw in a market stall. It was the only comic that they had in this market stall, and when I saw it, I thought, I know that artist. And this particular artist is the man responsible for one of my favourite Batman stories, and that is Todd McFarlane and his Spider-Man Masks series. Now, I was particularly drawn to how he's represented the Hobgoblin here, with the sort of the twisted hood and the slightly hidden face there. And inside the book, we have similar imagery. For example, here there's a little boy who's approaching the Hobgoblin, this kind of thing. And this immediately reminded me of Todd McFarlane's work when he drew the Reaper in Batman Year 2, my first Batman book, but also one of my favourite Batman stories. And I saw it and I couldn't be sure, but I thought that's incredibly similar. So I picked it up, took it home, compared the two, and sure enough, yes, it is. Todd McFarlane is responsible for both, and this book looked equally visually just so pleasing. Like the way he's drawn Spider-Man's webbing there, it's just gorgeous. It's very reminiscent of the excessive rope that he gave to Batman in Batman Year 2. I can't wait to read this story properly. I've been looking at the images over and over and over again, and I really need to sit down and actually read the thing. But it's a gorgeous comic book from seemingly my favourite comic book artist. And I never really thought about who drew Batman Year 2, oddly enough. But Todd McFarlane is clearly, up there in my estimations. Another thing that's up there in my estimations is this. It's a book that I picked up on the same day as those other books from Oxfam. And this is a book which online goes for like 70 quid, but I got for £20 in Oxfam. The Horus Heresy Collected Visions. This is a whole host of artwork and a timeline and a discussion of the story surrounding the Horus Heresy in the Warhammer 40k universe. It is just beautiful, utterly gorgeous as a collection of visuals. And this is the thing I've always appreciated about Warhammer, and especially Warhammer 40k. Back in the day, I used to paint my own Space Marines, and I used to just pore over the artwork that you would see in the White Dwarf magazine and in other places. And this as a collection of artwork explaining and exploring such a key event in the history of the Warhammer 40k universe, that introduction of chaos into the Imperium, is just delicious. I love this artwork, and to be honest, it's really given me the bug again. I really want to go back and start painting Space Marines again, and in fact, at Carson's Bazaar, where I picked up the Don't Kill for a Copy book, they've recently started selling Warhammer 40k and Necromunda and other things at very good prices. They're able to undercut the local Warhammer Games Workshop store by around 10, 15, 20%. So I may well find myself getting a new squad of Space Marines in the near future and giving them their once over, as it were. Actually, you may remember a couple of years ago, I was given my brother-in-law's Necromunda set, and both my wife and I really wanted to learn to play that, and we did start that process, but then life got in the way. She actually bought some beautiful metal figures back when they were still doing metal figures from the Games Workshop store to paint them up. So maybe actually this is an opportunity for both of us to get back into Games Workshop in a big way. And this artwork, I mean, if anything's going to inspire you to paint to paint models. I mean, surely to goodness it's going to be this stuff here. I think that's the Emperor himself there, in the presence of Horus, I think. Just wonderful, wonderful artwork. And also actually as well, not just paintings, but also actually the draftsmanship of some of the black and white artwork is excellent as well. So yeah, the Horus Heresy Collected Visions, a book that I didn't know existed, but when I saw it, as they say, I knew I had to have it. And finally, something else that I was sent by someone anonymously. No one seems to, to own up to this stuff. Is a series of very pleasing little, I think they're called Funko Orbs figures. I think they're from the Funko Pop company, from Funko. But this is a different line of figures, and these are Stranger Things related. So we have Dustin there, looking quite pleased with himself with a compass in his hand. We have 11 holding an Eggo, and looking all mucky because she's been in the forest running from the men in black. We have as well another 11, and this is 11 just after she's been found, and she's dressed in what's his name? Benny's Burgers, of course. Yes, Benny's Burgers. She's just in a Benny's Burgers t-shirt. You can see the 011 tattoo on her arm there. Again, she's muddy. A very muddy character, it seems. And we have the Demogorgon, looking all Demogorgon-y in that Orbs line. So I found these to be quite cute. I don't think I would have necessarily gone out of my way to pick them up for myself. But they're lovely. They are absolutely adorable. And also, there's something quite adorable about a tiny little terrifying monster. I find him quite cute, actually. So yes, these guys will be going on the shelf behind me as well, I think, in the very near future. So there you have it. Some pickups from the past couple of weeks, which, on a day when I feel rather manky, have really brought a smile to my face. In particular, those statues, whoever it is, or whoever they are who sent those things in, thank you so much. I love them. I'd never think to get them myself, but whoever you are, you seem to have good sort of cutesy taste, and I appreciate it. I'm also really looking forward to properly diving into the Horus Heresy Collected Visions and really just soaking in that artwork. It's glorious stuff, and also the It's a Bird book. So interesting, and hopefully in the near future, or in the future, I'll be able to do a bit of a review or maybe an analysis of that book on this channel. It looks like it's going to be worthwhile thinking about, I think, and talking about. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed this. As ever, guys, until next time, do take care. Bye bye.